Thank you all for joining this session. I'm super excited to go through with you and talk about engaging students with Google Slides. I am going to present, I think I'm going to do my entire screen just because it is easier in case I decide to move around and go from one tab to another. I'm amazed to say right now, I only have 6 tabs open on my screen. So that's pretty amazing because that's like unheard of for me. But so we're going to talk a little bit about slides today. And what I'd love to hear before we jump in, because we have been a Google district for some time, who is here for, maybe using slides. I'm kind of looking at the group. We have a wide range of kindergarten, couple of kindergarten and second and first grade. So primary all the way up to high school, right? So are you thinking that you're looking to learn a specific, or was it just, I just want to come and learn something, anything that's new and different that can engage these kids? Yes? No? Go ahead, Jackie.
Oh, no, just the second one. Take a look at whatever you have to offer and pick up whatever I can.
Okay. I always say that if you can learn one thing and take one thing away from this, then it would have been worth your time. And I'm going to be a hard stop at 11:30. Okay. So an hour of your time is all I accept. Okay. So here we are, engaging students with Google Slides. And basically, I'm just going to move through the presentation. And please just yell out if you have anything that you want me to say, hey, Karen, I have a question, or stop, or whatever, because I can't necessarily see you. Right now, I'm just kind of going through the presentation. So obviously, Google Slides, we think of it initially as PowerPoint, right? It's just another way for us to do a presentation for kids. But if we're looking for ways that we can have them be more like interactive, it's kind of like the Swiss Army knife of Google, right? And I say that because it's way easier to embed a YouTube video in a slide presentation than it is to put it in a Google Doc. It's way easier to have like an interactive experience where you can lead to other things, maybe by icons or pictures. It's way easier in slides than it is in Google Docs. So I hope to show you some of that today. Obviously, we love Google because it's in the cloud, but there's some things that maybe you didn't realize that you could do in Google Slides that are also available throughout Google tools. So looking at, feedback, maybe getting some Q&A, like directly in a presentation. There's that research tool, and then other specific add-ons that we'll kind of take a look at, okay? All right, so you can see on my screen this introducing Q&A. Basically, if you were doing a presentation, so, I have no idea what school is going to look like in the fall. It could be, face-to-face, could be hybrid model, which is a mix of face-to-face and remote, could be full-on remote. It doesn't matter. This Q&A, if you wanted, regardless of what you were choosing to do or choosing to teach your students, you could have them in the middle of your presentation. You could have them asking questions, okay? So one thing, if you look up here in the upper right-hand corner, right, I've got the present. And then when I click on presenter view, right, so if I click on this little down arrow, if I go to presenter view, right, so I don't know how many of you have actually done this. Does anybody want to yell out that they've actually used presenter view on this? Anybody? No.
So Carrie used it this morning during her class on engaging.
Oh,
yep.
Look at that. That's fantastic. So did she talk about anything in particular?
Just how it can be more interactive. And I didn't know that about that.
Fantastic. So do you see this? Did she go through this like audience tools? So you've got speaker notes and then audience tools, right? So what I can do here, so let me kind of review where that was, right? If I was in editing mode on my slides, and then I just click on that down arrow next to present, and then presenter view, I have an area where I can do speaker notes, which, you know, is if you wanted to highlight certain things that you don't want to forget when you're doing a presentation. But it's the audience tools, okay? And it just says start new. So if I click on that, and it says, I am accepting questions from anybody in Norton, okay? And then the questions would appear here, okay? So if you were to go to, let me just see, can I turn it off? I can. Perfect. So if you look on my screen, let me minimize this. It says ask a question at slides.app.goo.gl. And then, so it's kind of like a long, I guess, address. But if you wanted to open a new tab on your, in your browser and actually go to this right here, this address, we can see what it looks like. How does it come up? Let's see. Let's see if anybody does a question. Do I have any volunteers? Do you want to try?
So Karen.
Yes.
So I did one Google slide presentation when I had to videotape one of my lessons.
Yep.
I just fumbled my way through it. So
yep.
all of that, so if I go back into the Google slide presentation that I made, I will see all of that.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. You can get this in your own presentation as well.
Okay. Believe me, it took me like 10 hours to do this one little thing.
So hard when, well, you're not using it every day, right? Did anybody attempt to do a question?
I was gonna. So you want us to type in the
I was just gonna say, hey, Karen. If you type in slides.
Yep.
App.
Yep.
.goo.gl, and this is that /.
Yep.
And then it is case sensitive, so it's T, G, capital G, NCV. Let me see if I can.
Okay.
Yeah. I cannot.
All right.
But you can see right here, this now has become a header on my presentation. Do you see that? So let me see if I go back.
I just asked a question.
Okay, so I'm going to pull it up. Let me get rid of this and pull this back up. And hey, look, so I can see Kara saying, can you record your voice on Google Slides? I see Danielle saying, hi, Danielle. Perfect. I have questions that have no answers. Thank you, Kristen.
Yeah.
So I am going to actually go back here. Let me bring this back forward. And I am going to turn this off. Okay. So now I will pause my screen there. How do I get back? Now I'm in presentation mode. I don't want to be in presentation mode anymore. I'm just going to hit the escape button on my computer. And then it takes me right back here to the kind of editing mode, right? So that was pretty easy. That's just right here on the side of presenter view. When you go into presenter view and then audience tools. And then if I started it again, it's now asking me to continue or to start new. So pretty good.
Okay.
Does anybody have any questions about that, using that tool at all? Do you see maybe, show me thumbs up, maybe? Yes, I could consider using that. It's kind of tricky. I think it's one of those things that we don't know that it's there, right? Okay.
Yep.
I'm going to move along. So has anybody gone?
Karen, can I just ask one question?
Oh, of course. Go ahead.
For like the little kids, how would that work? Like they're not going to type in a question to me. Can they, for the Q&A, can they just talk?
No, you saw that was pretty much typing only.
Okay.
Right. I know that Clara had asked her question about recording your voice, and there are like add-ons I think that we can get, or extensions to Google Chrome that would allow us to do that. There's not necessarily an easy way, I think. Let me just look. Like if you had something already recorded, you could import audio pretty simply, but I'm going to refer back to that, Kara, so that I can get you that information. Okay. So this right here, if you could just mute your mic, I'm not sure, that would be helpful. So right here, this is just showing you how you can access. If you're logged into Google, it's pretty simple. You know, you can access by new and then go to Google Slides or just slides.google.com. And then if you were to add, if I go to slides.google.com and then just do new at the end, it will automatically bring me to starting do I want to start a blank presentation? Do I want to start, you know, some of these templates? And this is where sometimes I see all of the shared presentations as well. Okay, oops. So I want to go over here and take a look at this Explore tool, right? So if you wanted to, I know one of the things that we're trying to do is teach students everything on the internet is not free game, right? Free and open. We want to make sure that when they're doing projects, and certainly, you know, something as simple as adding an image that allows us to use the image, right? So that's what that copyright friendly image would be. There's like the Explore tool. And this actually, if you look down here in the lower right, right? So if I go to Tools, I can go to Explore, but I can also look down here in the lower right, and there's that Explore button, okay? So what does this let you do? Well, when I want to explore, I can look to search my documents and the web, right? So let's say I wanted to search for something on turtles, right? So I want to do, I don't want turtles for sale. I'm just going to do a generic turtles. Well, I can search the web. I can search images. I can search in my drive. But let's say I wanted to add this image. You can see right here. All I had to do was go to Explore. So think about that for a second. Did I have to leave Google Slides to get that picture of a turtle? No. I just had to go to Explore. I just had to type it in, do the web or images. I want to add this picture. I have this option right up here to insert. Obviously, it's going to insert. And what I'd like to do, if I make it a little bit smaller, you can see it's giving me a link. It almost embeds that link in the picture, okay? Which is kind of nice because now we don't really have to worry about it, right? I can just click on that image, and if I wanted to take the link out, I could, but this is an image that we can use in our presentation, okay? Something else that I want you to think about is if you're a middle school, high school class, and you actually have students saving text or research in their Google Drive, I can do a search for turtles directly in my Google Drive too, right? So maybe they're saving something and, you know, turtles all the way down. I'm pretty sure I read that book. I'll go back to the web and see what it brings. So here we go. Any questions about that Explore tool?
No.
It's pretty simple. I think it's definitely helpful. So you don't really have to leave slides. You're kind of just right in there. All right. Have you made your presentations gorgeous with these amazing Slides Carnival options and presentations. Oh my gosh.
I have not been to the carnival.
Oh, you
Neither.
I get a little dizzy on those rides, you know?
You're cracking me up, Chrissy. So if you've never been to Slides Carnival, you will get lost here because they have some pretty great presentation templates. Okay, and they're all free, and you can choose by color, or did you want to do something formal, maybe playful? How about if I wanted to, like, I'm thinking, I don't know, like this is a cute one. So you can go to a preview. And if I look at this, okay, this is my presentation title. This tells me what my, how to use it. And then they basically give you these really cute backgrounds, and you can just go in, and if I wanted to use as a Google Slides theme, what I'm basically doing is, let's see where it is. Perfect. I want to use this template. So up here in the upper right, I just click on that. And now it brings in directly to my drive. Might take a minute, but it brings in the template or the sample. The only thing that I would do is I would probably leave, like Slides Carnival, I would leave the name, and I would probably put like template. And the reason for that is so that I know that I want to make a copy of it, right? So if I just start right in and edit this, and I can easily do that because basically it's now in my drive. But if I make a copy of it, so if I just go to File, whoops, make a copy, and I want the entire presentation. Now I know that this is the one. Maybe I just want to delete slides and edit and just kind of have some fun with it, right? So what did I do? I went to Slides Carnival, and you can search. So maybe I want to say, if I did school, let's see what we get for school. Okay. So some of these you might look at and say, okay, oh, but that one's super cute, right? That, or even that one. I think what does this one look like? And I'll let you explore for sure. You'll have some time. But I want to go to a preview, and I want to download this. And I want to see if this is going to meet my needs. Let's see. Ooh, it's got like lined paper. I kind of like that. That's cute. Again, I want to use it as Google Slides theme. Now, if you're still using PowerPoint, by all means, you can certainly do that because, that's your option. I'm just going to use it as a Google Slides. And I can see the name up here, Kate Slides Carnival. I love it. I want to use it as a template.
Okay.
Pretty self-explanatory, right? So when I click that Use as a Template, it goes into my drive. So now this Kate Slides Carnival is in my drive, except remember I said I want to make a copy of it. Okay. So I want to go here, File, make a copy of the entire presentation. Okay. And I'm just going to leave it as that. So now I know, let me see. Here's the copy of that Eli slides. Now I can go in and I can edit this and do whatever I want to make it fancified for my class. And then Kate, the copy of Kate is coming in. Okay. Now this is the one I want to edit. Okay. Does anybody have questions about how to kind of go there and explore? There are a lot of sites that actually have, slides themselves. There are some really good themes and you can change. But I don't know, I like to make things a little bit more fun. Right here, I can change my background and I can go to theme here and I have all of these themes that I can choose from, which you may or may not have known. But there are some pretty great, themes at Slide Carnival.
Karen, I do have a question because right now all of my stuff is in PowerPoint because that's where I started.
Yep.
Is there an easy way for me to transition all of that stuff into Google Slides, or do I kind of have to do it,
Yeah, one at a time. I wish that there was an easy way. What I might suggest,
just because I want to move everything kind of over to Google Slides because that's what we're using now, and kind of move away from PowerPoint.
Yep. So here's what I would suggest. I would hold off for right now. And the reason I'm saying that is because, again, we're not really sure what the fall is going to look like. We have the ability to give you a Microsoft Office 365 account, which might be an easier way for you to transition and bring your PowerPoints into Microsoft so that you can still use them. Because in Google,
I can still use them. I haven't had a problem using them.
No, I know. I'm a Google person, so I would say, woohoo, absolutely. But it's not going to be easy, right? So you're going to have to upload a folder and you're going to have to go through individual presentations one at a time and kind of convert them from PowerPoint to slides.
But it's document by document, not slide by slide. Like that's what I would be.
Oh, absolutely. Like it would just be like your whole, if I had a presentation on, whatever the topic was, back to school, remote learning, I would upload that entire presentation as a PowerPoint, and it would say, do you want to open it with slides? And then the whole thing just opens in slides. So then
I can do the editing and it becomes the slides. Okay. That's kind of, I think what I was thinking of doing is, because I have a lot, but not like a ton.
Sure.
Because other stuff I have is also in the smart technology because of the smart boards. So I was using that as
I know.
Just trying to use the tools that you guys are offering us, because we are a Google school. So that's why I want to start using these Google programs.
Oh, for sure. And we'll talk a little bit about, we're trying to acquire a lot of resources that would provide for interactive experiences for kids, whether that means in-school learning or out-of-school learning. Every student is going to have a device pre-K to 12. So what does that look like and what resources can we provide them? So your math, correct?
Yes.
So we're getting, actually we have Equatio. I don't know if you're aware of that.
I don't think I learned that, but I've heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So we have the district license for that. So anybody who teaches math is going to be like giddy. But you ELA teachers, I didn't forget you either. So we have text help, which is also going to be like amazing for all students, even though it's kind of like an assistive tech resource. But don't get yourself crazy looking to do PD on this on your own, because we as a district will be providing, professional development, introducing things to you. And some of you might say, okay, I just need to learn how to use Google Slides. I don't want to know all this. That's totally okay too. Like deep breaths, we'll get there.
Thanks.
All right. So I'm going to move a little bit. So I don't know if you know that you can add slides to other people's presentations in the middle of them. Did you know that? What? So here's my presentation. And let's imagine that, if we're doing this online or we're doing it completely remote or even hybrid, what I'd like you to do is I would like you, because you're in my presentation here, right? What I would like you to do is I want you to open Google Slides in a new tab, right? So you can go in here and you can, just copy this. Let me see. I'll put it in the chat if that makes it easier. Oh no, I cannot. Let's do that right here. Yeah, I will put it in the chat too, because I think that might be helpful.
You just want us to go to Google Slides, Karen?
Yep. So if you just go to Google Slides, what I'm
Yep.
looking for you to do is I'm looking for you to add a slide to my presentation. Okay. So I just want you to, and I guess you could just go to slides.google.com and get rid of the create, but I want you to add your name as the title and just introduce yourself, right? Because we kind of jumped in and I know all you people, but I'm not sure that you know each other. Okay, I want you to just introduce yourself. Just, hi, I'm Karen, I'm the tech director. So just your name and just add like a little blurb, what grade you teach. And then I want
that's what you want?
Yeah, that's all I want. I want your name and then just introduce yourself. So once you have that one slide, right? So if I go and do it, and I'm going to go to slides.google.com.
Karen, I can't figure out how to do it in your slideshow. I just opened a whole new slideshow.
Yep, nope, that's what you want to do. Okay,
Yep.
so you want to start a new slideshow.
Yep.
Okay, and then in the title, you're going to put your name. Mine is slow, and I apologize, and it's because I'm doing too many things. So right here, click to add title. I want you to put your name. So Karen, and then tech director. Let's see if that catches up. And then if you have a Bitmoji, you can put your Bitmoji in. Let's see. I'll just add whatever Bitmoji. If you don't have that, that's a whole nother conversation. But I will do a check mark because that one's fine. So I'm going to copy this. I'm just going to paste this in. And I'm just going to move it over here. Okay, so I want you to do something like that. And even if you don't do a picture, you don't have to do a picture, but just do your name and what you teach. Okay, so now what are we going to do with that? So I want you to add that slide to this slide deck. Okay, so if you look at the next slide, it says add your slide here. All you do is go to File. And then if you look at Import Slides. Okay, so File and Import Slides. Now, it's asking, what do I want? Where's the presentation? Well, I can see it right here. It's untitled, and there's my name. So if I click on that and then hit select, if I 10 different slides or one slide, you just choose the slides that you want. I just want this one. So you can see it says one slide selected and then import the slide. Okay. So now over here, because I was clicked on add your slide here. Oh, Danielle, you go. Woohoo. Danielle's got it. And then here's mine. Okay, so let me walk you through that again. You created a presentation or one slide introducing yourself. Then we went to my slide or my presentation, clicked on this purple slide that says add your slide here, and it's just file and import slides. And I can see, oh, fancy. You people are fancy. So here is, love it.
I don't know why mine's not working.
Okay, so whose is not working?
I tried to, did mine show up? Mine's plain.
Not yet, but it doesn't mean that it won't. I'm just going to
So-
scroll down just to see. So the first thing that's important is, let's try that again. So you click on that purple slide. You go to File, Import Slides, and you actually,
Yeah, sorry. We do that from the new one that we made, right?
No.
Oh,
So this is the one
okay.
that, yep. So this is the one that I had made, right?
Yeah.
Just my name. I'm going back into the presentation that was,
Okay.
right? This is the presentation that I shared with you.
Got you.
So you want to click right here on, I think this is probably your best bet. You know, like if you were doing this with students, you know, all of these other slides, you know, are kind of white background with just some color. You can say, find slide number 9, find the one with the purple or whatever. Click on it. And that's where you're going to go to File and Import Slides. So again, File. I want to go to Import Slides. I can see it right here. So, you know, I didn't really change the title, but I know that that's the slideshow that I want to insert. So I'm going to select it. And I only want that one slide. So I'm going to click on it and then do Import Slides.
All right.
Okay, so now you can see I added mine again. Oh, Jackie, you got it. So I'm
Takes me a while.
No, it's totally fine. So Jackie, I can see you have it. Kara's got it. Danielle, Christine. So the other people who are still here, if you're struggling with this, we can help you. But imagine, let's just think for a second, how could this be useful? Okay. Well, if you were to have students, you know, working separately, you know, I know that Zoom had the group room. So if you were doing a Zoom session and you wanted to break your class into smaller groups, you could easily do that in Zoom. Well, we are getting the enterprise version of Google, which will have breakout rooms as well, which is really great. So maybe I assign each of those small groups to create something on their own and then bring it into one presentation. Because how many of you have shared one presentation or one document and it's a hot mess because the kids are all over the place and, you know, they might be deleting what their friends have done. This way, this kind of just gets away from that because they're working in their own presentation, and then you can actually bring an entire presentation, not just one slide in. Can anybody envision that being perhaps useful? Maybe?
Yeah.
Karen, I have a question. Once I import it, if I change it on my drive, does it change in your presentation? Like
so let's take a look.
I'm going to go add a smiley face or something.
Sure.
I'll add another emoji and see.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just curious.
Absolutely. Well, this is the time to kind of explore. My gut is no.
Okay.
My gut is this is like a snapshot in time, right?
Right.
So it's not really the connection.
Right. Okay.
Like a live connection where we can.
Right. Okay. So it has to be something
I
that
just
they
changed mine.
finished. I just
added the pink in mine and it's on yours.
Ooh, glorious. So
it's, yeah, it updated.
So
I just added something to mine, but I don't see it yet.
Okay, so why don't I, oh, Carrie, yay you. Let's see. I am going to refresh. Refresh. All right. Sorry, it takes so long. Sometimes. Okay, down. So I can see Carrie. Awesome, Carrie. Liz, who definitely, you changed that pink. That's fantastic. I still don't see anything changed here.
Yeah, I added another Bitmoji, but I don't see it on yours.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
So I can see right now so I guess my question, Liz, are you changing it from my presentation, or are you changing it from your untitled presentation where you just have your one slide?
Yeah, from my untitled presentation, where I just have the one slide.
So if I go to my untitled and I'll add in another Bitmoji. We'll see if that works for you. And I'll say genius, copy.
Yeah, mine didn't change.
Yours didn't change?
No, I added a picture to it.
Yep. Yeah, so what I'm glad that we're at least trying is, so that you know what the expectations are, right?
Mm-hmm.
So here is mine, and that did not change, right?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean that it won't change. We can come back and let's take a look at it, once this is done, once we're done kind of showing today. And I get panicky because it's 10 past, almost 11:15. So I'm, like I said to you earlier, oh my gosh, wear a mask, I love it. And look at that cute little pup. I do respect your time. So I'm going to try to move through a little bit. All right. So a couple of other things. So you could create like a class book. How many times have we looked at perhaps giving each student a slide and having them create? Do you even collaborate across Google Slides? If you wanted to maybe create something with shapes, or if you wanted to create something, giving every student the opportunity to participate and see their information collectively is pretty great. This is probably one of the most interesting uses of Google Slides, is using the margins, okay? Because most of us, when we're doing presentations, are using maybe present mode, where in present mode, you're seeing the entire presentation, right? You don't see the margins here. But if I go back to this view mode, you could create a copy of a presentation for every student. Certainly can do that through Google Classroom, but we could have it force a copy, and I can show you how to do that too if you want. But if I created this interactive margin and I said to students, okay, I want you to put all of the shapes that are polygons here and all of the non-polygons here, and then how do you know? All I'm doing, I can just click and drag, right? If I'm a student and I'm clicking and dragging and then editing within this slideshow, that's a different use that maybe you haven't tried before, right? So how do I get these polygons, or how do I create shapes? Do you see I'm just dragging? I'm just moving things. I can create, by going up here to insert. I can go to shape, and I have all of these different shapes that I can choose from, right? Callouts tend to be more, speech bubbles kind of thing. But like if I wanted to add equations, if you wanted to put some things on your slideshow, add in equal sign or add in subtraction or addition, you can easily do that. And you can create and drag and drop. I think it's really, what's your purpose? And then how do you go about creating it? You could create a presentation with one slide, and maybe it's just this. It's an interactive activity for your students to do. Okay. The problem is you would need to make sure that every student has their own. Okay. And I said, how could we do that? Well, if I just clicked on this slide right here and I did Command C or Control C on my computer. And then I'm going to go back to my untitled presentation over here, and I'm going to just do this plus new slide. And I want to paste, right? So what I just did is, so here's the slideshow that I was in. I clicked on my number 18 over here. I can do just, if I go to edit and copy, so it's also just that Control C. Then I went to my presentation and I did paste or Control V. So it brought in everything. But do you see what this says right here? It says import slides, do not link or link to the original. I don't want to link to it. I want it to be its own kind of presentation. Okay, so I want to get rid of this. Here is my new presentation. And if I wanted everybody to be forced to make a copy of this, I'm going to click in here. So do you see, I'm up here in the where the URL is, and it's all these letters and numbers, right? I'm going to the very end and I'm going to delete. Up until, do you see the word edit? Going to edit, and then I'm going to stop. And I'm just going to type copy. When you replace from edit on or view on with copy, this forces anybody who goes to this link to get to make a copy. Okay, so watch this. I'm going to go back into my presentation. Actually, I'll go into our meet. And in the chat, I want you to go to this document. And if you go there, if you click on that, it should say that it's forcing you to make a copy. Give me a thumbs up if that's the case.
It says I need access.
All right, well, that would be helpful, right? Share. So I'm going to do, and the link. Okay, so now when you're in there, does it give you, sorry, so that's my fault. Does it say, hey, do you want to make a copy of this right away? All right, so obviously step number one, share correctly. Make sure you have your sharing settings accurate, and then you can force people to make a copy. That's super useful. Okay, and if you just shared that link, then it would automatically make a copy of that presentation for them. Kind of
So
is.
did you,
Oh, go
sorry.
ahead. No,
Did
go
you
ahead.
want us did you want us to go back into that
No.
slide that you created?
No, you don't have to. I was just demonstrating.
Okay.
I just wanted to demonstrate for you that if you were to, you can force a copy when you're using Google Classroom pretty easily.
Right, right.
But if you are not using Google Classroom and you want to give people that link, or if you wanted to share with a colleague, right? And because I have to be honest with you, we had some people early on who were editing people's stuff left and right when they should have made a copy, right? So our colleagues aren't necessarily in our Google Classrooms, right? Or easily. So I would say with the littles, sharing with their families, it would automatically make a copy for them if you just got rid of that ending, anything after view or edit, and you just replace that with copy. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So again, I'm going to try to share some other things. Okay. So this right here, book snaps or math snaps. Has anybody tried doing that? And that's basically, all of our students have a device with a camera, right? I know that the Chromebooks are not the easiest to use to take pictures with, but most of our middle school and high school kids do have cell phones. Not that I would ask them, but all devices that kids have do have cameras. So they could take a picture, right? And they could, in this case, this is my friend Jolie here. She had created this idea of book snaps, taking a picture of the book, taking a picture of the page. You know, you could, as a teacher, create one of these and maybe put text around it. You know, maybe include questions. You can see this right here over on the left, where there's this open area where kids could type in their response right directly on the slide, right? So it's just thinking in a different manner how to use slides instead of just that presentation. Okay, I'm gonna move a little bit quicker because I'm just panicking a little bit. So let's say you, and I know that if we are virtual, it might be hard to come up with class jobs, but this would be, you know, certainly a way for you to do it. Just like we said, use the margins. We could use the margin with all of the kids' names, and we could kind of drag and drop the students' names in the class jobs. Creating a newsletter. Did you know you can change the layout of a presentation so that it is not just this kind of view? So the way that you would do it, pretty easy. File, go down to page setup. And right now I have widescreen, but I would go to custom, okay? And I could change this to 8.5 by 11 and apply. Might take a minute. Oh my gosh, right? It changes every single slide to that page setup. Now that might be awesome if you're doing a class newsletter where every kid has something. Obviously this one is not gonna stay like that. So I'm gonna go back to widescreen and just apply. You can do the same thing in Google Docs as well. If you are typically using that 8.5 by 11-inch page, you can change that to be whatever you want it to be as well. All right, yearbook, again, same kind of thing as teaching a book or creating a class book. Comic strips, okay? So how many of you have ever used like Google Drawings? It's the same way. If I'm in my Drive and I go to New and I go to Google Drawings, I could create something in here and then export it. In this case, I could save it as a JPEG, which is a picture. And then I would bring it in as a background, right? So in this case, something like this. If I was in my drawing, I could just change the background. I could create these little bubbles. And then students could absolutely use this as a background template and create a comic strip. Okay. Now, hyperdocs. I'm doing a whole session on hyperdocs this afternoon, but basically using Google Slides as hyperdocs. It's connecting slides and outside resources and kind of like a one-stop shopping area. I know Pear Deck is a product. I think Jen Young is going to be doing a session later this summer on Pear Deck, and we are looking at it. Has anybody used Pear Deck?
Mm-mm.
Well, it definitely makes it more of an interactive show, slideshow, and kids and teachers would have the ability to do it. You do have to sign into Google first, but it is a free add-on for us to be able to use it across all teachers and students. So obviously we have to pay for it, but that's certainly something that you could try out. This is a little video here. So if you wanted to see and watch the video,
Hey,
We're excited to tell you.
Pause it. You can make it larger. Oops, not that right now, but you can make it larger so that you could watch that and to get a little introduction on Pear Deck, because we're running out of time and I apologize. Eric Kurtz, if you don't know him or follow him at all, he is amazing. Control, Alt, Achieve, but definitely spend some time just kind of exploring. Go ahead and click on his ideas. You could also do vocabulary cards, interactive notebooks, student-led conferences. This might be a good way if we are doing remote or hybrid model. You know, students could kind of do an introducing themselves, goals and things like that. Goals for the year. Publishing to the web. If you wanted to, let's take this slideshow, and if I were to publish it to the web, I could share the website, and it actually is like a real website, you know, where it's, okay, now I can publish it and share it with parents or share it with colleagues or other, you know, other students, and it's published online so that anybody can link or embed it. Okay, that's different than sharing. Publishing is different than sharing. Publishing means it's on the web and anybody could find it, so you be careful of privacy. This is amazing, and this is kids creating their own, I call this a GIF. You might call it a GIF, but a GIF or animation, using tall tweets. And this is just more with my friend Eric Kurtz. So with that, I am going to go back into our, I'm going to stop presenting my screen and see all your lovely faces. 11:28, so I have 2 minutes to spare. And I know we didn't really get into a ton of stuff, but I hope that you have one item that maybe you're thinking, oh my gosh, I could totally see myself in my class trying out X. Or perhaps you're just going to go to Slides Carnival and kind of explore the templates there, because there are some cute things and fun things there. Maybe you're just going to say, you know what, I'm going to create a presentation, and all it is, I want to work the margins. I want to create something that brings in students with the ability to kind of move things around on the screen. Okay? Find one thing. And if you get stuck, and if you're like, okay, what did she say? Now that we have this recorded, we'll be able to kind of reflect back on it. But also, you know that you can email me anytime, right? Like, seriously, just say, hey, I know you said this, Karen, but I even listened to you again and I still don't get it. I'll jump on and meet with you anytime just to help you. Okay. I am going to stop recording now, because we're almost at 11:30, and I thank you for coming, but you don't have to leave yet if you don't want to, but I'm still going to just stop recording.